Samsonite is inexpensive, but I say, better to buy it once and buy it right, even if it's more expensive, and use that for the rest of your life than just go with something where you have to buy them.
Use the Samsonite very soon because she believes she only has a couple months to do it.
Okay, well, I appreciate your thought on that. Thank you, John. And let's move to Sean in Wyoming, first-time caller line on Coast to Coast AM. Sean?
Thanks for taking my call. I had a question. I saw one of those tunnels of light or beams of light.
Mm-hmm.
And after I saw it, my sister ran in to get some binoculars, and I looked, and it hit, right behind her, like a foot or two behind her. And I looked, and it actually hit my cat, and my cat took off running. From there, it was, behind the steps. And after that, I looked with binoculars and couldn't really see anything. It was like a faint, white light, maybe angel dust or something, the only way I could describe it. And after she went in and it was gone, and it looked like it came from beyond the stars, beyond, way back there in the galaxy, I stretched out my arms. I'm like, God, let me know that what I saw was real. And at that time, I thought it might be the aliens or something. And I saw a symbol that was maybe 1.5 inches wide, and it was about 2 foot off the ground, about 5 foot tall, and it was an arch, two-thirds of it arched to the right, and then the bottom third of it arched to the left, and it was just kind of like a snake type thing. And I was wondering if William had ever saw any symbols like that.
William?
No, I'm a very visual person, and I just, as you were speaking, I couldn't really get an image of that. If you could email it to me at williamhenry@williamhenry.net, I'd be happy to take a look at it for you and comment on it.
That's a very fair thing to offer. Let's go east of the Rockies. Dawn is in Hilton Head on Coast to Coast AM for William Henry. Dawn?
Yes, my question is, to get to the Father in heaven, you have to go through the Son, and that's all based on Jesus dying on the cross and then rising the third day. If, in fact, he did not rise the third day and didn't die on the cross and married Mary Magdalene, how are we supposed to get to heaven?
Well, that you probably will get to heaven just exactly the way that you believe you will. The Cathars believe something different, though. They believe that you get to the Father, heaven, through the Sun, S-U-N. And they thought of the Sun as a star tunnel, which today we refer to as a star gate. And so they didn't view Jesus as a person or Christ as a person. They viewed it instead as a column of light that reached through the sun, ultimately probably going to the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
And we have Chris on the international line in Montreal on Coast to Coast AM for William Henry. Chris?
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
This is just a theory I have on the comment that he made about the grid. And before that, I'd like to ask a question. Let's just say we do unite in this one giant grid. Do you believe that we can morph into sort of a high society, one voice, one mind?
One voice, one mind, William?
Yeah, like a high society.
William Henry?
Sorry?
Did we lose our guest?
No, this is Chris.
We lost our guest somehow. So I would be unfair of me, Chris, to answer the question for him on whether or not he saw one guest, one mind, one show, one voice. So we'll just leave it there for now and just say thank you for calling. And I'm sorry. I'm sure you had more to that, and I'm sure William Henry did too. Don't know what happened, whether there was something that got cut off on his end or some piece of technology on ours. And we're working on trying to get him back, at least just to say goodbye in a moment. I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to take a minute, if I could, to thank George Noory, who's been more than a colleague. He's just been a real friend, and I was just really gratified to be on his show earlier this week on many occasions, talking about the 35W bridge collapse in Nashville. And I just wanted to say, George, you're a friend, and that's a pleasure to have spent that extra time with you. And thank you, everybody, for your concerns on that. And I also want to take a second before we bring William Henry back up to mention that we have lost a friend of the show in Ariel Louise. She is a woman whom many of you have probably never heard of, and most of you never had a chance to meet, but I did at a Burnsville get-together, Burnsville, Minnesota get-together. Ariel Louise was known around the country for her support of paranormal guests and hosts and radio programs. She worked as a public relations woman on the Internet as kind of a pioneer in Internet PR And she died unexpectedly during a heat wave we were having here in Minnesota. Don't know many of the details, but I had the chance to meet her. And we'll always remember her hair, this bird's nest-like hair that she had, and the fun way that she spoke and talked and how she knew everybody. So thank you to Ariel Louise, and thank you to William Henry, too. And sorry we didn't get you. I don't know what happened there, but glad to get you back on just to say thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ian, very much.
And we'll have people link up to your site through ours at Coast to Coast AM and take a look at the new books, and also for the new trip coming up, which sounds terrific, too.
Thanks,
So hi to all my peeps there in Nashville, and go have the apple compote over at the pancake pantry for me, okay?
I can walk there. I live right beside it.
All right. It's Deus Te Amat, and I do, too.